Hello back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor and today I will be making my ultimate Taylor Swift album. But before I open the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things music. So Nina and Allie did do this video concept last year, and it has been a concept that's kind of been floating around TikTok for a while. And while I did film something similar to it last year, I scrapped that video in favor of jumping into the Life of a Showgirl videos because as soon as I filmed that video, she pretty much announced the new album. So that kind of took precedence compared to all other things. But since we are currently in a music lull and I'm working on the Red in-depth album breakdown, however, that's going to take me a while, and seeing as I start a new full-time job this week, it's going to take me a little longer to do than what I have today to put together and film. And we're already in bad lighting area because it's supposed to snow today. So it's overcast, but I've yet to see that snow. You know how it is. So we're going to be doing this video today. But yeah, if you do want to put input on what you want to see on the channel, please keep an eye out on my Patreon, Instagram, or the community post tab on here to vote on the things you want to see. Hence why we're doing Red album breakdown before any others, because that's what y'all voted on. But the way this is going to work is I'm going to do 15 tracks. Starting with track 1, I'm going to pick my favorite track 1 or the track 1 that I would most likely to see open an album, and then I'm going to do that for each respective 15 tracks. And then after that, we're going to do like a deluxe / vault track section where I'll pick like, let's say like 3 to 7, I think is the max number that we're gonna pick. Like, these are the songs, like if I had to do a vault or deluxe version of this album, I would do that out of all of the, 16 to I guess 31 tracks after. So I guess without further ado, let's hop into creating my perfect Taylor Swift album. Also, I think it goes without saying, Nina and Allie's video will be linked down below. A Taylor Swift track 1 really serves to set the scene for the album. It is the prologue to the album. It sets the vibe. It has to go in and grab you out the gate. So it's no surprise when you look at Taylor Swift track 1s that there's a lot of bangers, a lot of like confectious melodies to catch you out the gate. Like with Lavender Haze, it says meet me at midnight. I feel like mine, I can sing, I'm just not going to sing that. Ready for It, the beat of Ready for It. Truly, there's a lot of things that can be said here. I will say, if you know me, I have a running list of like, I go through and use a Taylor Swift song sorter to rank every Taylor Swift song, so I know exactly what my #1 track is according to that song sorter right now. Sometimes I may go for that, on here. Sometimes I may go for like which of these tracks I couldn't live without the most. In this case, I'm going with my #1 Taylor Swift track 1 of all time. And coming from a Reputation girly, is this a shock? Is this a surprise? It's Ready for It. In my opinion, at least until we got, oh, hey, look, I just said I haven't seen that snow, and I can look out right now. The snow just started. Sidetrack. Up until The Fate of Ophelia and, Lavender Haze, now those really strike me as great track 1s. And I think everyone really loves State of Grace. But I think we can all universally agree that the beat and the tone that was set for Ready for It out the gate is a banger and a great way to kick off what Reputation was. And it is one of like my favorite performances that she did on the Eras tour. So for our track 1, we're going to do Ready for It. Now, track 2s have a reputation for being a track that almost every Swiftie ultimately loved. The same with track 9, just maybe not as much hype as track 9 usually gets. Track 2s tend to be the bangers, the bops. They continue us on that hive. Track 1 kind of enters us and hooks us. Track 2 keeps those good vibes going. I mean, with the beats of Elizabeth Taylor, then like the fun, like screaming vibe of Cruel Summer, the cheekiness of Blank Space, or just like, like the real like anger and fun of Picture to Burn and all that. In this case, let's see. There's 2 track 2s that like battle it out for those top spots, and that's Maroon and a Cruel Summer. Now, here's the thing. If we continue the moody vibes that we open out with Reputation, Maroon would be a great one. However, if I'm honest with myself, I could not live without the bridge of Cruel Summer, and she is just something that stuck with me. She is like the symbol of what the Eras Tour is, and I think in this case, we're going with Cruel Summer. So we now have a lover track to introduce, and Cruel Summer is our track to pick. We're getting that meandering era between with track 3s and 4s that they aren't really like the album openers, eye catchers that track 1 and 2 are, but they aren't necessarily the vulnerable, sad numbers that track 5s are. So these songs kind of have a variation on what it is they're saying and doing. So with track 3, there's some great bangers like Antihero and My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toy or Opalite. But then there's some kind of like sad ones like Teardrops on My Guitar and Back to December. And then there's some anger in there with songs like I Did Something Bad. Now, there's a lot to choose from on here, and I've really been like on the recent album, Opalite has really caught me. Antihero is always a fave. I Did Something Bad though. Up until Spotify stopped doing its tracking like your most played songs of all time and only does like a year at a time, I Did Something Bad and All Too Well were in fact my most played songs of all time. So in this case, I Did Something Bad. Another Reputation entry in here, and there will be more to come. Am I mostly choosing the Reputation album? Maybe, but I Did Something Bad is one of my favorite songs that she's ever released. Another mixed bag of songs. Track 4, we've got some sad numbers like Down Bad and Exile and 'Tis the Damn Season, but then we've got some cheeky numbers like Father Figure and I Knew You Were Trouble. And then, of course, the OG track for A Place in This World. She's just a girlie trying to find a place in this world, and she doesn't know where she's going. And, of course, the iconic The Man. Now, here's the problem I am faced with. Theoretically, my favorite track 4 of all time is Don't Blame Me. However, Father Figure off of the new album, The Life of a Showgirl, is stuck in my head. Like, I feel like if given a few more months and time, because it's only been like 2-3 months with this versus years upon years with Reputation, I do wonder if Father Figure will grow higher on the list. And I already have a lot of Reputation on this list, to be fair. Let's be honest with ourselves. Father Figure hasn't climbed up to where Don't Blame Me is at currently. I do think it has the potential. But for our track 4 pick, we're picking Don't Blame Me. The track 5 lore is so interesting, and that on the original album that she released, Taylor Swift, her debut album, track 5 was Cold As You. And then unbeknownst to her, every album that she released in those first few album cycles, track 5 just kind of ended up being the most vulnerable song. Not necessarily the saddest song on the album, but the song where she feels like she's bearing her soul the most. Like she's going into that diary and giving you everything. So therefore, when it comes to track 5s, not only you're getting vulnerability, you're getting sadness, you're getting insecurity. Like The Archer in itself features that discussion around insecurity. My Tears Ricochet is discussing the sale of her masters and like the fall apart and the betrayal and devastation of the loss of that relationship. Or songs like Dear John, where she's coping with the fact that she was kind of taken advantage of by this older man that she admired so much. And then of course there's Eldest Daughter off of the recent album that's discussing about how she's been so torn down by love and the industry and the era of the internet that she kind of gave up on the idea of having that fairy tale love that she sought out for so much of her early years. Now she's able to find that. Now, here's the thing. All Too Well is my favorite Taylor Swift song of all time, but All Too Well 10 exists. So, in lieu of that, I have 2 songs that I am batting for this spot. All Too Well 10 will appear on my deluxe version. So, we have You're On Your Own, Kid, and My Tears Ricochet. This is the thing. I love these songs so much in their own respect. It's just a matter of the mood I'm in. You're On Your Own, Kid is definitely a song where I feel like I listen to the most when I'm in that transition period or in transition periods of my life. However, My Tears Ricochet is on my I'm Sad playlist, and I kind of listen to a lot when I am sad. So, I don't know. I think if I pick a song that fits most with where I am right now, where I'm in that transition period of my life, I think I'm going to choose You're on Your Own, Kid. So, but My Tears Ricochet, she stands strong. Track 6, up until recent events took place that shattered my heart, was supposed to be considered the high after the low that was track 5, with bangers such as Shake It Off, 22, Look What You Made Me Do, Midnight Rain, all sorts of bangers, bops, high serotonin tracks. And then she hit us with Ruin the Friendship, which, you know what, she was fun, she was groovy, she was feeling good. And then you get to that bridge and you're just like, huh, well, okay. Sometimes she breaks a pattern. But you know what? For the most part, these are just fun, dancey, like get you up in your vibe songs. Yeah, I'm gonna choose Look What You Made Me Do. A lot of people like to hate on this song the way they like to hate on Taylor Swift album singles and lead singles. But you know what? I like me a petty track. I like me a petty track. And I don't know if that's the end of our Reputation, because for the most part, Reputation to me, the first half of the album is my favorite. But yeah, another Reputation track to add to our list. Track 7s and track 8s are another collective group of meandering songs that sort of fill the gap before we get to track 9, which is always a crowd favorite track. So really there's a mixed bag again with these tracks of what you're going to get thematically. With sad songs like Tied Together with a Smile and Breathe for track 7, we have some sexy songs like So It Goes. We have some cheeky numbers like Actually Romantic, and then we just have the banger that is Fresh Out the Slammer. Now here's the thing. The top 2 contenders for this spot are The Story of Us and Fresh Out the Slammer. I would choose Fresh Out the Slammer if it weren't for the fact to me that I love everything about that song except for the fact that I think it should have ended on the chorus like Fresh Out the Slammer, because I love the sound of that, rather than kind of fading out at the end of that. So for me, a song that has stuck with me since Speak Now's release, it's going to be The Story of Us. I'm just going to say this, track 8 and track 7s, but track 8 particularly, I feel like amongst a lot of people tend to be the most looked over or at least listened to or at least streamed tracks of any Taylor Swift album. And that's just not like amongst like locals, that's even amongst the general Swiftie fandom. But track 8, she's got some cute ones like Stay Beautiful and Paper Rings. Then we have a fan favorite like August, Florida, one of my favorites, and then the controversial Wish List from the new album. I will say Wish List wasn't my favorite upon first listen, but I have been getting into it. But my top 2 contenders for this track, there's some pretty strong ones. We've got Paper Rings, which I love. I love a lovey-dovey song. Then we've got Vigilante Shit. I love a girl on her revenge bag. And then we have Florida. I think to satisfy my pop rock sensibilities and vibes, and to get a little bit of Tortured Poets into our album, I'm going to pick Florida. Track 9. Historically, track 9 has been the favorite track of the entire fandom because it has such well-loved songs like Enchanted, Getaway Car, Wildest Dreams, Bejeweled, Guilty as Sin, and up until recently, the fandom was like, track 9 can do no wrong, and then we got Wood. And while I don't dislike it, Wood is such a bit of a controversial number amongst general society that I feel like it might have tainted the listening experience for some people. I will say Wood is not my favorite off of the album, but every now and again, if I'm in the mood for a cheeky little number, I will go listen to Wood. But track 9, Enchanted, Wildest Dreams, Getaway Car, my top 3 track 9s. Oh, this is the question of which one do I want to listen to more. Oh, there's also Cornelia Street on here. Oh my god. Oh dear lord. I'm gonna choose Enchanted. Let's face it, the girlie in me who loves a fairy tale and is a bit of a hopeless romantic, when in doubt, choose Enchanted. Then we move to the track number that historically been my favorite track, and that's track 10. And it's kind of funny to me because I feel like Nina in the original version of this video that she and Ellie did said that track 10 people, very few people are track 10 people, and they tend to be a little something. Track 10 historically kind of tends to be There's a lot of sexy numbers, there's some sad numbers, but there tends to be a lot of rage and revenge woven into track 10s, like Better Than Revenge, or you know what, Who's Afraid of Little Me and Cancel. But then there's other numbers such as Labyrinth and King of My Heart, these beautiful love songs, and these sad songs like Illicit Affairs and The Last Time. And then of course there's that cutesy little How You Get the Girl. So I tend to be a revenge song girly, and there's just something about the track that is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me that captures me every time. As a reader, as a lover of complex female characters and villain arcs, there's just something about this song that makes you feel it, that makes you want to scream and cry and yell for all the anger that it feels like has been put in you. I mean, Feminine Rage the musical. What can I say? Track 11's another good track. Now, I will say track 11, track 12, they don't necessarily have any lore behind them. So there is some more mix here, but I think they tend to be more universally received than track 7s and 8s from what I've seen in my many years in the fandom. But track 11, we have such great and iconic songs such as Our Song and Forever and Always. Some beautiful, simple ones like This Love and Invisible String. And of course, the crowd favorite or underrated crowd favorite of Honey off of the recent album. But for me, there's just one song that captures my pop heart, that captures my petty heart, and that is Karma. Could it be that we've all been doing karma truthing for how many years and I'm just like, karma, come back to me? Maybe. But hey, this is just the proof that upon first listen, a song may not grab you, but you know what? If you listen some more, maybe it'll just grow to be your favorite. All right, track 12. Track 12. There's a lot of songs on track 12 that represent a lot of things. Soon You'll Get Better probably being one of the saddest songs that Taylor Swift has ever written. Then we have songs like The Life of a Showgirl, which is the penultimate end to that which is the album. And then we have Haunted, which is a crowd favorite. Now, am I going to choose anything but Haunted? Absolutely not. But just know, there's a lot of track 12s that I love, like Mad Woman and Long Story Short in The Life of a Showgirl. And I mean, I think everyone bawled their eyes out to LOML, but I would be remiss if I didn't say Haunted for track 12. Now, track 13, while it doesn't follow a necessary pattern, we do have to point out that 13 is Taylor Swift's favorite number. So sometimes I do think when it comes to track 13, she does put songs in there that somehow represent her in a more unique way. Like songs like Epiphany and Marjorie that are dedicated to her late grandparents. I Can Do With a Broken Heart, which really illustrates what her life was like during the Eras Tour and kind of what her life has always been like, doing and performing and going to work and being this massive public figure, but also dealing with all this, distress behind the scene. Or songs like Change, which describe what it means to like get your first award or to make it into this industry for the first time. Or The Lucky One, which is really following up on that concept of like, I'm experiencing fame at a level that I never thought it would be, and it's not necessarily all that I thought it would be, that I thought it would cut out to be. Now, some favorites among this: I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, The Lucky One. Now, here's the thing. Everyone probably would choose Clean. It is a fan favorite song. It is not my favorite Taylor Swift song, so I'm not choosing it. To me, I'm torn between those top three of The Lucky One, This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Whew. If I put another Reputation song on this, will y'all get mad? Nah, I don't really care. I'm going to choose This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. It's not a fan favorite, but it is a Taylor favorite. This Taylor's favorite. So yeah. The bridge of that? Yeah. I like fun. I like petty pop. What can I say? So track 14 and track 15 kind of tend to be around the time where Taylor Swift closes out the albums. Obviously, Life of a Showgirl ended at 12, and she said there's no deluxe there. The deluxe version of the original Taylor Swift debut album ended at 15, but 15 is really just like, 15 is really just like a remix, so really it ends at 14. So this is about the time where we start seeing albums in. Reputation ends at 15, and so on and so forth. So track 14, there are some cutesy ones on here, like Everything Has Changed, Call It What You Want. Then we have the iconic Long Live and The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. Ooh, man. And then, of course, You Need to Calm Down for all of my fellow queer people. Um, yeah, I am going with the crowd here. I'm going with the fandom, and I'm going to choose Long Live. If Long Live wasn't here, I probably would have chosen The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived or Wonderland. But hey, Long Live is here, and as a Swiftie, as a fan, I think we can all agree the song for the fans must always be there. Then track 15, the closing track to our album. Long Live would have been a great closer, but of all of our track 15s, we've got a few beautiful ones like New Year's Day and Starlight and You Are in Love, these very lovey-dovey ones. And then we have Insecurity in the song of Peace, like Acceptance in song of Evermore, the sadness that is bigger than the whole sky. But the song that I'm going to choose is a lovey-dovey song, and it's off of the Tortured Poets Department, The Alchemy. I feel like this one is a bit of a more niche love and interest, but I don't think it's like necessarily, well, maybe I would say it's underrated. But hey, it's a song off of the album that I really do enjoy and love. Is it like top 5? No. But is it a banger? Does it get me in my sports romance feels when I want to go out and read a sports romance? Yes. And coming off of Heated Rivalry, Scott and Kip edits, the Scott and Kip edits to this have me going. But that concludes our 15 tracks. So now let's go pick out our deluxe/vault. I think I'm going to choose 5. In that 3 to 7 range, I think 5 is a good, and we already know what one of them is going to be. So after track 15, really most of the albums end before then, but then you have really long albums like Red Taylor's version or the Tortured Poets Department that have a lot of material to work from. And of course, with the vault tracks added in, all of these albums kind of grew exponentially. So I'm going to choose 5. Obviously, I have to choose All Too Well 10 Minute. All Too Well will end up here in some fashion or the other. Just understand All Too Well is my favorite song of all time. And if you want me to do an in-depth breakdown of the entirety of All Too Well 10, just let me know. For my actual in-depth album breakdowns, I'm not going to go too much into the songs, but I will, ask y'all if you want like more in-depth breakdowns into All Too Well. But All Too Well 10. And then the song that I listen to when I need to feel happy, like when I need to be brought out of a rut, when I just need to dance and feel happy, good, cute little vibes, New Romantics. This is off the deluxe version of 1989, and a lot of Swifties like to joke that this is their national anthem, and to me, it's always going to be a song that I'm going to go to. Oh, and then the 2 songs that have to be here from the Midnight Vault deluxe version, You're Losing Me and Would've, Could've, Should've. Those songs just... there's such an emotional ring to them that stick with me, and they're still my favorite songs off of that album, and I can't see anything else ending up here. And I think to close out our album, there are a lot of favorites left of the 16 tracks that we haven't discussed and gotten to, like The Black Dog, Hits Different. I love like The Albatross. There's Sweeter Than Fiction. There's Timeless. There's Don't You, Message in a Bottle, The Very First Night. But I think the song, and it makes it perfect to say it's my ending track, I'm going to choose Is It Over Now from the 1989 TV Vault. I'm a pop girly, and this song, no matter what, I always go back to because it just is the most infectious song out there. And the 1989 Vault, I think overall is my favorite vault selection that we've gotten. Although we're holding out to see if she ever gives us a Rep TV Vault or a debut vault. We'll see how the year takes us, or the next few years takes us. But that closes out me creating my perfect Taylor Swift album. Let me know how you would have gone about picking these tracks. Would we have had similar tracks or not? And to be fair, I'm pretty sure I'm posting it on the screen as we're closing out this video what the final album looked like. I feel like maybe we should pick to close it out, let me pick my favorite album cover, and I'm just going to say my favorite album cover that Taylor Swift has ever done is actually a variant album cover off of The Life of a Showgirl. And if anyone can guess, it's her most sexy, scandalous number. So that's going to be my album cover, and then that is going to be my track list. So yeah, I will see y'all in the next video, which should be us reacting to the first major album release, or the first major album release for me for the new year.